so much for joining us again. It's another fresh episode of your solution providing show. We call it Your Viewpoint. I am Rotimi Akintola. This show is sponsored by Integrated Communication Services and of course designed to encourage moral values in our society and provide possible solutions to societal issues. Today, we're talking about healthy aging, and we should know that everybody has the right, the opportunity to live a long and healthy life, but then the environment we live in would either be harmful or be favorable to our health. And so we decided to talk about healthy aging today. A lot of persons today go out to work, do a lot of things, but then they do not know exactly how to take care of themselves, the environment, the drugs, the food, so many other things that are related to our health. We will be talking about all of them this afternoon. Whether you're a leader or you are a follower, your age, your gender, your status, whatever it is, you must be concerned about healthy aging. And that remains a serious concern for us to talk about. We will be talking about how to see how we can take advantage of opportunities that are available for us to live a quality life and of course live well. I won't be doing this alone. I have two guests in the studios this beautiful afternoon. I have a doctor of medicine, Chidima Nwokoro. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I also have the chairperson Nigeria Association of Social Workers, that's NASO, Lagos State Chapter, Lamilisa Morayo Olubum. It's good to have you around.
Thank you for having me.
All right, very quickly, I will start with Chidima. She's popularly called Dr. Chichi, so I'll call her Dr. Chichi at some point. So, the perception about health in Nigeria, from what you have seen around people you have met, patients and all of that, how would you describe it?
I think it could be more proactive.
Okay.
That I'm quite an advocate for preventive medicine. A lot of people wait until things get too bad, or wait until they can't manage it at home before they come in. But then there are things that you can do even before the symptoms come about. Things you can do: eating well, eating better, exercising better, working on your mental health. There's so many things that you can do, and I hope I can share some of that with you today. Okay. That can prevent you from even ever going to meet the doctor.
All right, so far, do you think the way people perceive health issues in Nigeria is good enough? Do you think people take health issues seriously in Nigeria?
I think it can be better.
It can be better.
Okay. People are becoming more proactive with health. This is a good thing. Okay. Right. But they're going to the wrong places. They're going, they want to use this herb, this.
No, okay, we will talk about that. Because we should be talking about alternative medicine at some point.
Yes.
Yes, we'll get to talk about as it affects our health. So, Morayo will tell us, what is your take? When we talk about healthy aging, as a social worker, the chairperson, a lot of persons might not really know what social workers are doing. But before the show, you told me a number of things about social workers in Nigeria, more pronounced abroad. But in Africa, in Nigeria, let's quickly say something about what you do, social workers. What relevance do they have in our society?
Yeah, thank you very much. Social workers have a lot of role to play in our society. As you're aware, we have so many social problems, from the families, youth, in respect of our children, the economy. All these are social problems. When it comes to education, joblessness, unemployment, they're all social issues. Even when you talk about the elderly too, we talk about the geriatric, that's the geriatric part of social work.
Okay.
So social work has different bits, and we have different sectors. We have those working with NGOs. Okay. We have those working as social welfare officers. Okay. We have those working as community development officers.
So we can find social workers in almost every part of life.
Yes.
Okay. Probably that is why they are called social workers. So everything that has to do with society. All right. Maybe some other time we'll get to talk more about their functions. But then let's quickly look at what we're looking at today. There's this man, Kunle Adeyanju, who reportedly traveled by road all the way from London. I'm sure you must have read that report about that man and all of that. and people were hailing him, you know, left and right, say, oh, wow, this guy is great, this guy is good, and all of that. But I was wondering, you know, what effect it would have on his health status. Now, this time around, I want us to look at activities, so to speak, you know, the activities we get into and all of that. Now, this man has decided to go to Israel, and from Israel, he wants to climb Everest, Mount Everest. Yes.
Wow, ambitious.
Yes, I got it. So, now, as it is, if you happen to be his doctor, what would be your advice?
Okay. I think it's a great thing to do.
Okay.
I'm an explorer of life, and I encourage that in people. Planning is important. Okay? So I will tell him to get a medical checkup. First of all, make sure that his heart is okay to sustain that kind of stress. Because he's going to go through a lot of emotional stress, physical stress, and what have you. Then I'm going to look at what places is he going to go past. Okay, is he immunized against the common endemic diseases there?
Okay.
Is he healthy enough to deal with them? Does he have any over-the-counter medication he can just keep just in case he has symptoms? You know, just proper preparation is good. Once you do that, you know you're covered. You can explore, climb any mountain.
Really? Okay, well, in that regard, do you think everybody can actually do that? Despite all of those things you've mentioned, you know, the over-the-counter medicine and all of that, you've tested your heart, okay, good, and all of that. Do you still think everybody can get into such activities?
I don't think so, to be quite honest.
Okay.
It's not that
All right, there's another story I would like you to react to. I would like Morayo to also talk about that. Now, there's something they call PCB. It's called polychlorinated biphenyl. You know, it's usually called transformer oil. Yes, and there are reports that roadside vendors, people who fry foods and all of that, akara, plantain, you know, people who love, you know, all of these things, all of that, they get to buy stuff like that, and it is believed that, according to a report, that they use this oil, you know, mixed with groundnut oil to cook, to fry food for people. However, I know the government is doing something about that, but as a social worker, what do you have to say to that?
Yes, as social worker, I think all we need is sensitization.
Okay.
You know, people must know about this. If they don't know about this, if they don't know the health hazard it constitutes, they will not stop, or they will not find an alternative. So they need to know, we need to sensitize them, we need to educate them, then there has to be advocacy. Even those who fry them, they need to be sensitized. We need to educate them on what health hazard it constitutes. So basically, you know, people do many things out of ignorance.
Ignorance, or maybe out of poverty?
Yeah, not everything is poverty. You know, not everything is poverty.
Yes.
You know,
because sometimes when you are frying all of those things, you never can tell. Your child might just, you know, pick out of those things and eat. Yeah, so it can also affect. So not necessarily out of poverty, but out of ignorance.
Ignorance,
like
more of ignorance.
Okay, as a doctor, what hazards do you think it portends when you use such, you know, something that comes from a machine, so to speak?
Something that's for a machine, not for human consumption.
Maybe because it looks like your groundnut oil and nobody would know. And maybe somehow they've taken it at some point and it doesn't affect them in any way. What's your take?
See, the problem with things like this is the effect isn't instant. If I drink acid, immediately I'm going to feel something and I'm going to stop.
Yes.
But if it's something like this, I will take it over years before I see what's causing it. And it might not present in an obvious way. It might be, oh, you have a kidney problem, or you have a respiratory problem, or your liver has a problem. Do you understand? So it's something that people might not see that problem. It's just silently causing death, silently reducing the span of life. So I think, like she said, she raised some important points. Education is key.
It's key.
Let these people know how harmful it is. Let the government ask themselves, why are people going to use this to prepare the food? What can we do for them? Is there something we can subsidize for them? Is there something we can provide for them so that they prepare the food in a healthier way?
All right, and that will take us to environmental issues, how it does affect our health. You know, looking away from the vendors and all of that, environmental issues, dirty environment. Today we still see a lot of places filled with dirt, waste and all of that. What is your take? As a social worker, what is your association doing, to see how we can be free from an environment like this? Is there something you can do, your association can do to contribute?
You start with your immediate environment.
Environment, fantastic.
What we have to identify what problems there are before we provide solutions. You might be living in VI, I might be living at Ajegunle. So we have different areas and their peculiarities. So the area and its peculiarities will determine how we can actually come in. We have PSP. We have people who are converting waste to wealth. We can go on advocacy. There has been education concerning that. There has been sensitization concerning that. Not with social workers, but we have had programs at the community levels before, when that has to do with converting waste to wealth. Your pure water nylon, your, what is it called? Even now it's ongoing. You can pick up plastics, you take them, you sell them for I don't know how much. They sell them in grammage. So for all of these things, all we need is sensitization, continuous sensitization and advocacy. But you start with your own environment.
So, basically, you're looking at the fact that people are not so sensitized, so to speak. That is why usually they don't want to take care of the environment. What is your take? What effects can, there was a time during COVID-19 we're talking about hand washing and all of that. Yes. To what extent can these environmental issues, still talking about hand washing as part of what we should be doing, to what extent will these things will have effect on our health system, on our health generally as a people? Some people just feel, okay, little dirt may not mean anything. They just want to throw away stuffs around them. Yes.
I like that you mentioned the hand washing thing.
Okay.
Statistically, the prevalence of flus in the world has gone down dramatically. The amount of people that get the common cold, different viral flus, have gone down just because of hand washing and nose masks. So thinking about things like that, when you create healthy habits, you can wipe out so many problems in your life.
What are healthy habits? Let's start from there.
Okay, so healthy habits are just things that you do regularly. Okay? You start them off. You do them, you can do it maybe once a day, twice a day, whatever, and it becomes a part of you. It becomes a part of your daily living. And then it's not such a burden anymore. That's the beauty of habits. You start them, maybe it's something that you do, you jog every day. And then before you know it, it just becomes a part of you. It doesn't stress you, it doesn't take out of your day. Your whole life goes around it. But then it's feeding you, it's helping you, it's keeping you healthy. Things like that. So environmental habits, starting them young and early, I think it goes a long way.
Okay, I'd like you to emphasize more on the healthy habits. Apart from hand washing, which is usually focused on by most organizations, big international bodies and all of that, what again should people do to live healthy?
Okay, all right. So I like to talk to my patients a lot about things like this. Okay, there are 3 areas I like you to look at. One is healthy eating, healthy exercise habits, and healthy mental health habits. When it comes to something like healthy eating, it can be so basic. Reduce the amount of salt in your food. Try and eat more food that you cook yourself. Remove soda, Coke, Fanta, Sprite.
No. Well, I wouldn't want you to talk about
let me know.
Yes, you don't have to mention brands, because all these brands, of course, some people believe they have great things they do. Yes. So we're not just going to talk about, we just want to look at, some people call them soft drinks.
Okay,
yes, and all of that.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, and then drinking more water.
We've seen some doctors that would advise you to take a bottle of soft drink. All right, they will ask you to take it, and as a result of what they call, is it hypotension?
Hypotension.
Hypoglycemia. Okay, you are going to talk about that. But we need to go on this break. After this break, you are going to be talking about at some point sugar intake. Yes, in terms that's going to come under healthy eating and all of that. So we're going to look, what amount are you supposed to take? What amount are you not supposed to, reasons you should take all of that. We'll go on this break and we will be back. Now, on this break, we will be talking about pre-wedding pictures for those who want to get married this Saturday, or you want to get married soon or later, whatever it is. If you're still going to fall in love, you're still going to get married someday, I think you should see this short clip, and we will be back. Go nowhere.
Did you know that there is actually a specific time to take pre-wedding pictures? Pre-wedding pictures are taken 3 months before the wedding day. The history of wedding photography begins in the early 1840s. During this period, photography had very little commercial use, but the idea of creating memories of the wedding day was already born.
Well, my name is Obiora Chetana. Yeah, I am a photographer. I've been in photography for roughly 12 to 13 years. I'm the CEO of Constant Digital Media Concept. Well, to me, the importance of pre-wedding pictures is the couple to stand out, the couple to be unique on their own. So to me, the importance of pre-wedding is just for them to see that we are also following the trend of what is going on in the digital world now. So the importance is like the couple, they want to do the best to show off that we are getting ready to get married. Well, a lot of things. Like for me, the first pre-wedding shot I did, it was awesome. I did in different locations. Like the one that wowed me most is the one I did in the sea. The couple, I took them to Takwa Bay side. Then the wife was inside the boat, and then the husband was outside. We were staying on almost on the edge of the boat. So we took the shot, and when we posted it, people was like, "Wow, how did it happen?" So that was a very new trend, and also we did it in different locations. So to me, that trend was quite okay, because it's something that people are not doing. So for you to have a good trend, you have to do what others have not done. Yes, the importance of that pre-wedding is for souvenirs, because people do it to use it to prepare their souvenirs. They use it to prepare their banners, their albums, like all these design on cups, on mugs, on throw pillow and all that. So I think the importance is basically pointing hand on the souvenirs. Okay. Yes, the poses, the location is key. If you have a good location, like around a spring water, where the couple, maybe the bride is having a local pot, all those calabash, it makes it fine, and she will put on like all these African short dresses, you know what I mean, the up and down. It doesn't have to be gown, it just have to be a short wrapper or something, you know the kind of thing I mean. So it makes it key, it makes it look different, because its uniqueness in this pre-wedding thing, it makes it fantastic. So, and also the location is also good. If you have a good location, if you go to many, some people go to zoo to shoot with animal, and maybe the husband is looking at the animal, and the wife is appreciating the husband, or the husband is appreciating the wife. And also some people go to the hotel, in a bar, in a beer parlor. It depends on what you and the photographers, the couple and the photographers have in mind to achieve. Actually, in photography, everything in photography is key about creativity. So when you are creative in going to different areas that people have not gone to, it makes it wonderful. If you think of going to zoo will be fine. Maybe you're riding a horse and your wife is holding the horse, and the husband is on the horse and the wife is holding it, or interchanged. So it makes it key, because not everybody will love to do that. So it's different opinions of photographers to do.
Pre-wedding shoots have become a tradition for the modern-day couple, and you should not be left out of this trend.
So much for being there. Thank you so much. We are still talking about healthy aging, and I have in the studio Dr. Chidima Nwokoro and Morayo Olubumi Lamilisa. We were talking about sugar intake when we discussed healthy eating the other time, and Chidima wants to say something about that. You mentioned hypoglycemia.
Yes.
Yes. So let's start from there.
Okay, so diabetes and hypertension are two of the most prevalent, most common diseases we have, especially among black people. Okay, so with regards to hypoglycemia, it's something that happens where for the diabetic, either you don't produce enough insulin or you don't produce it at all, and you can't process the sugar in your body, so you just accumulate and so many other things happen. Okay, so there are certain points where you have your sugar being too high, and people bother about that so much, but then when it's too low, it can cause a lot of trouble. It can even cause coma and death. Okay, so what do you do as a diabetic? You watch your sugar, right? There are different glucometers you can buy, very cheap, less than 10,000. Right in the morning before you eat, you check your sugar. Have an idea, so that when it becomes abnormal, maybe it's abnormally high, you know that you need to adjust your medication, your lifestyle, or what have you. When you usually catch it early, you can use lifestyle changes to maintain your diabetes. Okay, you eat less sugary foods, things that have processed sugar. You know, you eat small meals throughout the day. So you can eat 5 small meals. Eat just to satisfy the hunger, but not to be full. Okay. In between, you want to snack. Okay, snack on things with low sugar, cucumber, cashew nuts, groundnuts, things like that. Okay, so that there's no period where you're too hungry and so your sugar goes too low, or you want to eat a big meal which can skyrocket your sugar. So it's very simple things like that. Okay, exercise, simple exercise. Take a walk, even if it's around your house every morning. Do jumping jacks, even if it's 50 every morning when you wake up. Little things like that can help you have a healthy life.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. We are still going to come back to some other things you mentioned. Take, for instance, some people that are not diabetic, just young men, young women. Now they want to bring down sugar, and they want to take something that is bitter, believing that something bitter would bring down the level of sugar. But I would like, okay, let's hear from you. What's your take? Do you think bitter drinks, so to speak, would bring down the level of sugar?
Well, it depends. If a drink is bitter, the chances of it having sugar is very low.
It's very low, okay.
But then
what about drinks that are made in a way such that, you know, you have a lot of sugar, but then it's still going to be bitter?
Exactly.
What happens?
There are many drinks drinks like that usually have a lot of sugar. You won't know. Say, oh, it's bitter, so it must be healthy.
Okay, that takes us to people who try to use herbal drinks, believing that, okay, this thing is made of leaves and some stuffs like that, so it won't have sugar. What's your take?
Yeah, I'm a semi-herbalist, so I believe in healthy eating and using herbs to make yourself better. But the problem is these herbs are not regulated. You don't know what is in them. Some of them are the things that you use to make all the tablets that we use, but then you dose the tablet. You can only take this tablet a day. You can only take it for a period of time. But then you're drinking that thing, you're drinking it every day. A lot of them have massive side effects.
And some as alcohol, you know that?
Yes, a lot of them, they mix it with alcohol.
And do you know we have a lot of those drinks now? As a social worker, what is your take? Now we have lots of these drinks out there with different names, funny names. Do this, scatter this, scatter that, you know, get into whatever it is. And you wonder, what is the brain behind all of these things? Most of the time, they want to connect it with, you know, have that ability to be a man and all of that, even though we're not going into that. But what is your take as a social worker? What do you have to say to people? Well, people would take all of those things in excess.
Well, I'm not a doctor,
Yes.
but I believe in moderation.
Moderation, okay.
You know, and I believe that you need, I mean, there's somebody that will have told you, use this thing. But do you know, my own take is you must know the dosage. And you need to take lots of water to get it out of your system. That's my own take, because I don't really, I'm not an advocate of, I do take herbs.
Yes.
But when I take herbs, I take lots of water.
Okay, now the major challenge, because definitely we're still going to talk about that, maybe not today, we're going to bring somebody that will talk about that, maybe with Dr. Chidima. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know why she's saying that, okay, some of these drinks are not regulated. I know the other person may have some other point. But then, let's talk about self-medication. Because you talked about moderation, and that takes us to people thinking, some adults, maybe as a result of culture and all of that, they believe, okay, if you take this amount of drink, if you take this amount of stuff somewhere, you can just plug some things, put them together. It's going to reduce your sugar, it's going to boost your hormones, it's going to do this and all of that. As a doctor, what's your take?
This is actually a problem for us in healthcare. Okay, I have a lot of patients that come in with problems with overdose or complication of, like some of these herbs, for example. Some of them can increase bleeding. If you have ulcers, it can be bad for you. Some of them affect your kidneys, some of them affect your liver. Okay, and even people even take prescribed medication, they take it by themselves. I had this patient once that she came in, she was a diabetic. Okay, she saw the symptoms. Her friend who was also a diabetic said, oh, okay, just be taking this, you'll be fine. That drug is specifically for that person. Now you have someone else taking it. All the side effects is not calibrated to them. All sorts of things, and it could be very dangerous. Doctors are your friends. Come to us.
All right. Okay, there's this vox pop. People on the street talked about why people don't do medical checkup, because we're still going to talk about that. Now, there's this issue with doctors. They believe that, okay, I have to spend money, I have to buy this and all of that, I have to, consultation and all of that. So people decide to become consultants for themselves. What is your take before I go to doctor?
My take is that, I know that the Lagos State government, for example, has a health insurance scheme.
Okay.
I think doctor and other doctors should just, sensitize patients. They might not be in hospitals, but I sensitize people on the need to tap into the Lagos health insurance scheme.
Okay, you're going to pay for that? That's an advertisement.
No.
Okay,
sorry. You asked me a question, and I thought that's the best way to answer.
All right,
because healthcare is expensive.
Okay.
But to a large extent, I know that is...
For people who cannot afford some other packages, they can take advantage of that. All right. We're going to be talking about sporting. Now, the other time you mentioned about 3 things, your eating habits, then you mentioned some other things like that, then exercise and all of that. What do you want to say about exercise?
Okay, so I like to keep it simple and sustainable.
Okay.
But the problem is a lot of people want results now. Want back now.
Exactly.
Really
especially men. They want to have
immediately, and they do go through extreme measures to achieve that. The problem is it's not sustainable. Okay. So
apart from being sustainable, what about professionalism? Instructors. What's the role of instructors in getting into exercises?
Oh, I think they are very important too. I'm a doctor. I still have an instructor. In fact, I saw that instructor yesterday morning before I went to work. Okay. Just make sure that instructor is trained, actually trained in the practice of physiology. They actually know what they're doing. Because if they are not, they can harm you. You won't realize they're having all sorts of pains. You don't know where it's coming from, because they want to satisfy that urge of you wanting something immediately. They do all these extreme things, and you can hurt yourself.
All right, we are going to be taking your calls and messages. The numbers will be shown on your screen. You can also drop your comment on our social media platforms at Your Viewpoint on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're still talking about healthy aging, and I'm still talking with Chidima Nwokoro, Doctor of Medicine, and of course Lamelisa Morayo Olubumi. We've been talking about healthy aging, talking about a lot of things here, drugs that people take. Now, I'd like you to talk about drugs now. At the time, the government was against, roadside drug sellers and all of that. Yes, and we still have some people that still do that. Now, is there a way, how do you determine what is original, so to speak, the right drug to use? It's a society whereby, people just want to make money, and as a result of that, they get into all sort of things, producing whatever it is. As long as, even the OTC, you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, people just, looks like people can just produce it anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
What's your take, and what effect would it have on people?
It's actually a major problem, okay? Drugs coming from all over the world that are expired. You have people, businessmen that go, for example, I might want to get a drug at 50 milligrams, for example.
Okay.
All right? They go to a company. The company produces the active ingredient at just 2 milligrams and then put all sorts of placebos to bake it up, and you serve it as a 50 milligram drug.
Wow.
I go and prescribe that drug, you go and buy it from the pharmacy, and they're actually getting just 2 milligrams. If you're a diabetic hypertensive, you think you're treating your this thing. If you're not doing checkups, you will go for a long time still having those issues, and then you won't know until the complications are there.
Wow.
All right? The expired drugs is a problem too. Sometimes they alter the expiration date, and that's a big problem. So I think the regulatory bodies of this medication need to, step up. Okay, the people that control the import of such drugs need to make sure that they are getting quality drugs for Nigerians, because it affects all of us. Okay, it puts a strain on the medical system, it puts a strain on the government as well.
All right, we're still talking about healthy aging. Let's look at surgeries. Today we have a lot of persons, that even serve as role models, so to speak. There's something they call liposuction. Yes, and some other things like that. People want to look beautiful, and so beautiful that people will spend all the money in the world on them. What is your take? What is your take about surgeries?
Well, if surgeries are recommended, there's nothing wrong with surgery.
Okay. On one hand.
On one hand.
Yes.
On the other hand, I mean, you must at least seek advice before you go for any kind of surgery. You mentioned liposuction.
Yes.
I just think this might be the easy way out for those that can afford it, because I know it doesn't come cheap. I mean, if you watch your diet, if you eat well, you take your exercises regularly, you would lose that weight. It might take time.
Like they don't know.
It will take time. Stop taking late night meals. Do more of proteins, fruits and veggies.
Okay.
Look, then exercise a lot.
Okay, fantastic. But you would agree with me, most of these people are aware. They know what to do without having to go for surgeries and all of that. Now, my take is, my question is, why? Is it about this? Is it about this self-esteem? That I just want to look better than other people and all of that, so they have to change my nose, expand my lips and all of that. What is your take, Chichi?
Yes, I think people just want to live up to societal standards now. Unfortunately, if you look at social media, there are a lot of unrealistic standards and expectations that we put on ourselves, and people want it right now. Because my friend has just done it and she looks so amazing, me too, I want to go and do it. As a doctor, before I go to surgery, I must eliminate everything else. All the medication, any other procedure I can do before I consider surgery. Especially surgery that involves anesthesia. There are so many complications involved.
What does that mean for viewers?
Okay, yes. So anesthesia is just, in a very simple way, what is given to a patient to remove the pain sensation from the part being operated on. Okay? But there are so many complications with it. Some people, after that, they have, their blood pressure goes up. Some people, it might be hard for them to come back from anesthesia, because some of them, for example, general anesthesia, it puts you to sleep. Something that puts you in almost like a comatose kind of state.
Wow.
It's not something that you want to play with. And if I'm operating on someone in the chest region, most likely the anesthesia I'm going to use is general. Okay? So it's very dangerous to do that. I understand if it's a necessity, but if it isn't, let's try and find more, in fact, less invasive ways to alter our body. Exercise, diet over time. You'll feel better. Every time I exercise in the morning, by the time I'm walking on the walls, I'm feeling like a million bucks. I feel like I've done so push-ups, I've done, you know?
Yeah, okay.
It's a lot better.
And it's quite obvious, I must say. Yes, I do that as well. And of course, it has a way. Even when you just move like this, you move like this, just in the morning, you know, you just... yes, a lot of things you can do, even simple exercises that would help you. All right. Let's go on this break. Now we are going to be taking sports. We have something interesting for you if you're a lover of boxing. And right up to that, we would be seeing what people on the street said about medical checkup. And that's going to be our discussion after that break. Remember, you're going to be calling in. Of course, you'll be able to send your messages. The numbers will show on your screen. And of course, we'll be taking your calls and all of that. We'll be back after this break. This is Your Viewpoint. Please go nowhere.
Boxing is a notable sport in Nigeria and in recent years have grown to become a franchise. We will be taking you back in time on the evolution of the sport. Today, boxing has become very popular in Nigeria, even competing with other popular sports like football. The Nigerian Boxing Federation is charged with overseeing boxing in Nigeria and other organizations that promote boxing, including the Nigerian Amateur Boxing Association and the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control. All those bodies are seriously working on early talent acquisition, nurturing and promoting young Nigerian boxers to the spotlight. At the point of gaining independence, Nigeria was in the forefront of economic and political stability. Things looked promising in the sport of boxing. Nigeria have produced 2 Commonwealth boxing champions, Dick Tiger and Hogan Bassi, both undisputed world champions, Tiger at middle and light heavyweight and Bassi at featherweight. Amazingly, during the 1940s and 1950s, Bassi and Tiger are among the hundreds of Nigerian-born boxers who made their names in boxing halls and arenas of the British Isle. However, in the early 1960s and 1970s, sporting policy slowed down a bit of progress made by discouraging amateur fighters from entering the professional ranks, which would have made a big impact if only amateur boxers were allowed to turn professional at an early age. Despite all this, Nigerian boxing progress was undisputed and continued to be felt around the world, with several up-and-coming boxers making their debut into the boxing world like Dele Jonathan, who defeated future world champion Jim Watt of Scotland for the Commonwealth lightweight title in the middle 1970s, and Henry Akinwande and Herbie Hyde, who both held WBO heavyweight title. Ibe Abuchi, nicknamed the President, defeated Chris Pride, a world champion, in 5 rounds, and in 12 rounds defeated the intimidating David Tua in a highly exciting match which had a good number of punches thrown. Over the years, Nigeria continued to produce very talented boxers such as Ahmed Sadiq, Akiyemi Laleye, David Defiagbon, and Benga Olokun, to name a few who were heavyweights, cruiserweights, lightweights, and featherweights. Nigerian boxers have held their own game in international boxing competitions, and this success can be attributed to the role that indigenous boxing and wrestling played in the culture of Nigeria. Dambe is a rugged and striking sport that utilizes fists, feet, and head. Boxing used to be the most popular sport in Nigeria until the 1950s and 1960s, but completely disappeared from view until the beginning of the 2000s. Boxing was featured in newspapers almost every day. Kids had scrapbooks of their favorite boxers, and Nigeria had 2 world champions already in 1957 and 1962.
My name is Virginia Elvis Omoje.
There are so many reasons involved. One of them is because they are not intimated. They don't have knowledge about the importance of regular medical checkup. And another one is their financial capacity. Because of the way the country is, a lot of people are really undergoing through so much financial stress at what the end is not able to carry them, not to talk of the going for medical checkup. And for those of them that are lettered, that knows about it, most people put up a kind of lackadaisical attitude. They don't care about their health. They think they are too busy, especially in Lagos. Somebody once said something that in Lagos, that is people in Lagos that wakes the cock up, but in other states that the cock wake them up. So you can imagine all of that. So for me, I think these few things contribute to a lot of people not going for their medical.
So what do you think is the way forward?
The way forward is we should intimate people. When they say knowledge is power, when people know the importance of going for medical regular checkup, they'll be able to do it.
They are really not enlightened. They don't know that they should go for medical checkup, and they're also looking at the cost. Nigeria is already hard. To make money to feed alone is hard. So by the time you're looking at going to pay maybe 20,000-25,000 to see a specialist, you'll be feeling like that's too much.
Okay, so what do you think the solution? What do you think is the solution or the way forward?
I think they should enlighten people, like traders. There should be some kind of an enlightenment program to let them know that it's good. Self-medication isn't very good. They should just try as much as possible. There are government hospitals, there are general hospitals, there are federal government hospitals. They should use those ones. They are not as expensive as private hospitals, I think.
Well, most Nigerians, let me just say average Nigerians, most of them, they are ignorant of this, like going for medical checkup, because they believe everything is normal. And most people, they go like they do self-medication and all that stuff. But I believe it's better to go for a medical checkup time to time, so that you can know your body position and your health issue, so as to tackle whatsoever issue you have on time. Most people, they will go about praying and doing and ignoring the medical aspect of their health, which is not advisable. It's not good enough.
They don't go because our Nigerian mentality, we believe when you go, the sickness you don't have, the doctors will find it in your body. So this is one thing. And an average Nigerian does not have that money to go for,
But do you advise that people should go for regular medical?
Of course. This for to know our health status and all. Yes, we should.
Some people that don't have money, some if they are sick because of money, they cannot say somebody near them say I'm sick because they don't have money. And some people, they don't have money to go to hospital. Some people feel, let me take Abo because I don't have money. That is some people problem.
My name is Virginia Elvis.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for being there. We're still talking about healthy aging. This is your viewpoint. I still have Dr. Chichi in the studio, and Lamelisa Morayo Olubimi. She's the chairperson, Nigeria Association of Social Workers, Lagos State Chapter. And we're still talking about a number of things people do that are not good for their health. And those who just spoke, I'm talking about the Vox Pop, a number of them, somebody even mentioned the issue of money. Can money be a reason why people don't want to go for a checkup?
Yes. Money is the reason why people don't go for checkup. Money is the reason why people
But is that a good reason anyway?
No.
Okay.
I know it's very understandable. Okay? We live in hard times, and then not all fingers are equal. But then I always tell my patients, think of the little money you're paying now compared to the money you pay if you don't treat your thing now. Okay, if you leave it to the point where you need surgery or some major test, or you're having issues back to back, that difference is significant.
Okay.
I always go to hypertension and diabetes because it's one of the most common things in Nigeria. Okay, you're not taking your medication because it's pricey. It costs a couple thousand every week, and then you get to the point where you need surgery. You need to replace a heart valve, and you're going into millions, right? That's even more risky for you. And then you're dancing with life and death. At that point, I asked, would you think that that was worth it or not? And then there are things, like she mentioned earlier, there are government schemes to make it easier. There are a lot of free services in hospitals, government hospitals, that people don't know about. There's HMOs. HMOs, you pay as little as 3,000.
And even in some organizations, as salary workers, so to speak.
Yes.
But if you look at those HMOs, are they really effective? What's your take? In fact, and there's some packages online now, so to speak, that people do. You know, the idea before now is that hospitals or health centers don't advertise. But that's a professional issue anyway. But then you see a number of packages online. There are people saying that, okay, you can get insurance per month for 1,000, 2,000 and all of that. What is your take on that?
Yeah, my take is that, well, people just make so many assumptions. They just assume, you know, you go to the hospital first to make diagnosis, then you know what the treatment will be like. But people are so scared because of the economic situation to even visit the hospital because they assume they are going to pay through their nose.
Okay. But is it that we don't have hospitals that surcharge, so to speak? What's your take?
But for the elderly,
for the
you
elderly,
have this. They don't pay the same rate as everybody does. They give them preference.
Yes.
Even before the insurance scheme came on board.
Okay.
They give them preference. There are many things that they surcharge for them.
All right. You can send in your SMS to the number showing on your screen. Now let's quickly talk about bleaching, in quotes. Maybe there's a professional name for that, a jargon, a technical name for that. What's your take? Oh, does it have a name?
No, just bleaching.
Bleaching is bleaching. All right. Okay. Now, what's your take about that? I see a lot of people do that, but then, you know, they have a right to, you know, wanting to make themselves look good and all of that. But as a doctor, does it have any impact? Does it?
Especially if you do it over a long period of time. A lot of these things are toxins. You know, a lot of them have steroids. Okay. Steroids reduce your immune system. Okay, so it will make you more liable to infections, to, you know, any other agent. So steroids are there. You know, there are some other things that over time they accumulate in your body. They can cause this oncolosis, where you have black-blue pigments on your face, and it's irreversible. Wow. Some of these things, they stay in your body, they overwhelm your liver, you have liver issues, they can affect your kidneys, they can build up in your body and deposit anywhere, and wherever they deposit, they're not supposed to be there. Either your body will fight them in an abnormal way, or they overwhelm that system.
All right, there's this message on our platform. It says, I like this week's topic about aging. It's established that in Africa we age faster than those in other parts of the world, like Asia. Like Asia. The person said Koreans are said to be the healthiest people on earth due to the fact that they generally live longer than most people. This has been attributed to their lifestyle. It's quite long, which includes their eating habits. This tells me the lifestyle changes, which may include alternative medicinal practices like taking herbal teas, exercises, supplement, may be responsible for longevity Koreans experience. Now, the question is, please help me ask the doctor if she thinks alternative medicinal practices is the way to go in Africa, and indeed Nigeria, considering the fact the integrated medicine, complementary medicine, orthodox medicine in combination is receiving increasing recognition. And the countries I mentioned are increasingly practicing this approach to achieving all-round health. Okay. Were you able to get the drips? Okay.
Okay, thank you for that question. What I'll say, I'll try to be as diplomatic here, is approach with caution. Okay? Natural things, naturally occurring foods, they're fine. I always tell my patients, eat more fruits and vegetables. Your immune system will be grateful. If people have low blood levels, yes, I give them medication, but I also tell them, eat green leafy vegetables, bitter leaf, spinach, ugu, garden egg, things like that will help. I love it when people use good diets to make themselves healthy. Okay. But don't go extreme. Okay? Don't use all these concussions if you don't know what is in them. Okay? If they are not regulated, if they are not under a regulatory body, don't use them. Okay? They might not be the best.
Even if we are Africans and we have our culture, right?
We have our
Are you saying we should jettison
I'm not saying
some of those things?
Oh,
okay.
No.
Okay.
Approach with caution.
Approach with
Do
caution.
your research.
All right, that's
Know what
interesting.
is, yeah?
Okay, that's great. All right, I was going to ask you something about, but then I would go to Melissa. What's your take about planning for a healthy life in old age? Let's take it like that.
It's very, very
What's your
important.
advice?
You know, yeah, and that's what our medical social workers do. You know, like Dr. Chichi said, eating healthy, exercising, then even socializing helps, and planning your retirement. All those factors help. Like somebody dies now, there's no will, definitely it will affect the well-being of all other members of the family. Then when you talk about healthy aging, it includes the physical, not the physical, the health, and the medical aspect, the cognitive aspect, amongst them, and the social aspect. Because you find out that the more you socialize in your old age, you'll be happy. You mentor, you have savings towards your retirement, amongst others. You don't have to be in paid employment. You might be a pepper grinder, you might be grinding pepper or pepper seller, or whatever.
What they call micro-pension scheme.
Yes.
That you can, you know.
You don't have to be in paid employment. There are so many things that make people, that make them have disabilities in their old age. And it's centered around their retirement. So,
All right. Okay. you want to finish that off?
Yeah, centered around their retirement. So all this, when you stay healthy, part of having a healthy healthy aging is planning well towards old age, and because it doesn't come in one day. It comes gradually. You know that by 60, what you're doing at 40, what you're doing at 35, you cannot necessarily do at 60. So planning does a lot. Is key. At 40, you can have your will written. Nobody's saying you're going to die early. But planning.
Okay, that's another topic entirely. By the time we'll talk about that, we would, of course, bring a lawyer to discuss that with us. And if it has anything to do with what social workers are doing, then we'll bring them on board to talk about that. Okay, so before we go, remember, you can always be a part of the conversation. Whatever questions you have, contributions, drop them on our social media platforms at Your Viewpoint on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So what's your parting shot for people as we round up the show?
Okay, so
to live healthy.
Okay, I'll say keep it simple and be consistent. Okay, you don't have to climb the mountain every day. A simple stroll for 10 to 15 minutes, simple jumping jacks, maybe push-ups, some other exercises.
All right.
Eat healthy. Eat the right food.
Okay. Thank you so much. And in one word, your parting shot.
Yes. Be happy.
Be happy. That's okay. I will take be happy. So be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. All right, whatever it is, do it right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I've been speaking with Dr. Chidima Nwonkora, and of course, Melissa Morayo Olubumi, chairperson NASO, that's Nigeria Association of Social Workers, Lagos State Chapter. I am Rotimi Akintunde. We'll be back again by God's grace next week, Tuesday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Be sure to join us. Love you. Bye.
Thank you.